What the hell? Did I never start it? Can y'all see me now? What the hell? That was weird. It was telling me that I was live, but nobody could see me. Hello? Anybody there? Ah, now I'm here. Damn, now I got to talk about all that stuff I was talking. So I was never there. I got like 16 minutes in and nobody told me you could. Whoa. All right. All right, I'm back now. I'm back. I was here the whole time. I couldn't see y'all. Y'all couldn't see me. All right. So let's just cut to it. We did the Double Trouble tournament. I sucked. Here, we're gonna get y'all gonna get the abridged version of everything now. I could not catch a fish to save my life. What up, Danny? What up, Charles? What up, Nate? What up, Charlie? What up, Blackfish? Blackfish, I was showing y'all a video. Go follow Blackfish right now if you don't follow him. He makes some cool videos. And he got on a really good trout bite during the tournament, looks like. What? Oh man, what is going on? I'm having all kind of technical difficulties. But all right, we're gonna just skip ahead now since I wasted 16 minutes of y'all time. All right, can y'all see me now? Colin, can you see me? Charlie, can you see me? Charles, somebody. Y'all can see me, y'all can hear me. We good to go. I'm just gonna jump straight to it. I did do like a 16-minute recap of the Double Trouble tournament, but I guess we'll talk about that at the end if anybody has any questions about it, anybody wants to know. Basically, the gist of what I wanted to say was that Golden Meadow, Basins, Point of Shin, that whole area is on fire with speckled trout right now. If you want to go catch speckled trout, go there this weekend. It was pretty easy to catch a decent amount of specs. So that's basically what I want to talk about there. All right, now we're going to move on to the top 10 kayak launches that are beginner-friendly kayak launches. Number one, we're going to talk about the first place. This is a bonus place. This wasn't even on my list, but I just thought about it earlier when I was telling you all about it. It's Bayou St John. It's an easy spot to launch a kayak. You can launch pretty much anywhere along the whole length of the bayou. Just pull off to the side, drop your kayak in. There's a decent amount of bass. There's redfish. Pretty much anything that swims in Lake Pontchartrain is in the Bayou St John. And it's always a very safe place to go. You're not going to have many waves. You're not going to have many strong currents or boats or anything else to worry about. And you're always going to be pretty close proximity to the land. If you can swim a little bit, you can get out of danger. So that's spot number one. Let's play a little catch up. Now, spot number two. That's true. There's a really good easy launch right. Wait, no, where's the bayou? Right here on Florida. Right here. There's a dock right here where you can launch a kayak pretty easily. So that's on the corner of Florida and what's that? Moss? Yeah, they also rent kayaks right there if you want to rent a kayak and paddle around on the weekends usually. The water in the bayou was actually surprisingly clean. I had a video like maybe 2 weeks ago from the bayou where I was catching some bass out there, and you can kind of see the quality of the water. It's pretty good. I mean, everywhere is gonna be safe if you can swim a little bit. Like if you can swim good, if you Michael Phelps, you could go anywhere. If you could swim, like no matter if the water's like 7 feet or 70 feet, it's all the same. If you can't stand up in the water, you're gonna have to know how to swim. If it's over your head, you know. So I'm 6'3". If the water is 7 feet, I'm gonna have to swim. If it's 70 feet, I'm going to have to swim. So it's the same difference. But yeah, this is a good, safe place to go if you're new. All right, let's move on. Spot number 1, the real first spot. This is a spot I started off. One of the first places I took my kayak is Irish Bayou. Irish Bayou could be a little trickier than Bayou St John because you're dealing with the open lake, and you can get lots of waves and tidal movement at certain points. But if you stick close to the shoreline, and if you stick inside the lagoon itself, you should be fine. The water in the lagoon is very shallow. You can maybe 3-4 feet at the most. And all along the shoreline is all 3-4 foot water. I've stood up like out here in the middle. I've walked this whole area. You can see the bottom in these pictures. You see all these dark patches of grass beds. You can walk all out here. It's very shallow. Just be mindful of the wind direction if you're going to launch here. So if you're launching right here at this beach, be mindful that if the wind is blowing from the west or the north, you're going to get some wave action if it's high winds. And when I say high winds, I mean like above 10 miles an hour probably. It's going to be high. It's going to start to kick the lake up. So if you're getting a high west wind, you're going to probably want to launch over where the old truck stop casino was. You can see this little gravel area right here. You can usually back in right there and launch. And back down and fish. You can fish all through these canals here. This point is usually pretty good in the fall. All along here is good on a westerly wind. It's protected on a west wind. Also, the third option of launching in Irish Bayou is to come down a little gravel service road and launch next to the Crabbing Bridge. This is a good launch when it's windy. You can stay inside the lagoon. You never have to go into the main lake area. So that's the first spot for beginner. It's close to the city. I know most guys who follow me are in the New Orleans area. So that's a nice close spot. Yeah, the Crabbing Bridge is the spot to go. All right, second spot. We're going to move down a little further away from New Orleans. We're going to come down to Delacroix. So this is also another nice beginner spot to launch. You come down the road, what is that, LA 46 to Delacroix. Down the Delacroix Highway, you got this road that runs along the bayou here. There's these few canals that cut in. So you can just pull off on the side of the road, drop your kayak over these rocks, paddle through this canal here, and fish this whole shoreline. Fish this whole shoreline down here. This is pretty close area to fish. It's what up, Islanio? What up, Matt? What up? Oh, that's Joe. What happened to Joe? Joe Fish. Yeah, there's a couple of those couple of these areas, you know, it's this canal. There's another one down here. I haven't checked this one out yet, but I've been meaning to get out here. You can duck right through these little canals right here and fish this shoreline. So those are all good spots. And then also don't forget about the boat launches down there. You have Serigny's, which is, that's not Sweetwater at all. This is Sweetwater. You have Serigny's, which is like right up here somewhere, right here. Ain't it? Yeah. And you can launch there and go through these bayous and fish redfish all through here. Or you can go down to Sweetwater. Sweetwater, you got a lot of good close options. You shoot across, you can fish down this way in the graveyard, shoot across to these ponds here. All this is like less than a mile of travel. Fish all through this broken marsh here. There's always reds and bass to be had in this area. So that's number 2, but that was like 5 spots I just told you. You also got the Reggio Marina, which I've talked about before. You launch here and fish this marsh area here. Not a lot of boat traffic and not a lot of strong currents to contend with. And it's all shallow water. Lots of reds down this whole highway. And it's all pretty kayak friendly. I guess, let's see, spot number 3. We're going to move on to Shell Beach. This spot is a little bit trickier, but I still would send a newbie here. You launch out here. You can stop at Campos Marina and launch for free. Get your supplies and your ice and your tackle. Or you can drive to the end of the road and launch here. shoot straight across the mist to go, and you can duck. This is not really a great picture of it. It's kind of hard to see it. Right here, you see the rock line? You can duck behind these rocks, and then there's no boats to contend with, to worry about. Lots of good redfish and bass live back in this pond here. All through these channels I've explored. I still haven't explored most of it. I've been there for a while. I've been there a few times, and I still haven't explored all of it, just in this one little section. There's also this side to go through too, and there's lots of bass, lots of reds. The hardest part is just shooting across the mist to go, but on a calm morning, you should be able to get across no problem, and feel pretty safe and secure as a beginner. And I'll put all the addresses to the launches in the description of this video, so you guys can get there yourselves. Fourth spot, we're gonna come down is Hopedale Marina. They put in a nice new kayak launch, so it's easy to launch down here in Hopedale. It's not on the picture, but it's right here near this shed right here. There's a kayak launch where this shed is, right on the other side, and you can launch right into Bayou Louisiana. The easiest way to go for a beginner is to just shoot across and get back in this marsh back here. Lots of reds back here in this ponds, fish these ponds. All real close proximity to the launch for beginners. Another spot I could recommend is to go down to the dam in the summertime. This marsh area is probably better in the fall and the winter. Coming out to the dam, it'll get better as the spring goes into summer. It's a good spot to go. This is less beginner friendly, but after you start getting a little comfortable with your boat, this will be no big deal to get out to the dam on a calm summer morning. There's a decent amount of boat traffic that runs this canal, so you got to be mindful of it. But I think they pretty much adjusted to having kayakers down there nowadays. So if you just stay alert, you should be fine getting out to the dam this summer as a beginner. Increasing your confidence level in your kayak. All right, where are we going to next? I guess we're going to go over to the kayak launch, the one and only Point of Shin Kayak Rentals. Let's see, can we get a picture of it? So yeah, Point of Shin Kayak Rentals right here, down in Point of Shin, Louisiana. It's a great spot to go. Easy launch. The owners down there will point you in the right direction. They'll put you on the fish. You can even get a mothership trip, which they'll load your boat up onto their motorboat and drive you out to the fishing grounds. So if you're not so sure about navigating or anything, he'll drop you off and pick you up. Yeah, that's a decent spot to fish for a beginner. Lots of close places to catch fish. Even also off of Island Road is another good area to launch as a beginner. But I would recommend the launch. It can get tricky sometimes. The water will pour through this main canal, so just be mindful of what the tide is doing. Maybe go into the tide on your way out and ride it back to get home. But tons of people launch their kayaks there every day, so it's not it won't stop you from getting where you go in the tide. And you always got to feel safe of calling the launch. I'm sure they'll come and help you out. But yeah, Point of Shin is a good spot. And it's on fire right now. The trout down there right now are eating everything up. Like I talked about this in the 16 minutes where y'all couldn't see me is during the tournament, we caught trout in a little bit of everywhere. And everybody I talked to had caught trout that day. Out of basins, out of Point of Shin, out of Golden Meadow. This whole triangle is just loaded with trout right now. If you want to go catch some trout this weekend, that's where I would recommend. All right, where we at now? All right, we're gonna skip these two spots. We're gonna move down the road. Next spot I would recommend for a beginner is going down to Leeville. You go to the old Bobby Lynn's Marina, which is now Top Water Marina. This is a good launch. You shoot right across Bayou Lafourche, and you got all this marsh to work with. It's all pretty protected from the wind, from the tide, from the waves. Lots of marsh to hide in and duck in. Can fish redfish, trout, pretty much everything right now. This time of year, it's going to be in this marsh. So yeah, this is a good option for right now if you're a beginner. It's before you get on the toll bridge, so it's right on the right hand side. You can just jump right over there. And there's also another little launch right here off the side of the road. There's a spot just past top water where you can jump in, launch your kayak here, and ride back in this marsh back on this side, just on the opposite side of the road. So those are two good spots for beginners. There's also the public launch, the Leeville kayak launch. I wouldn't recommend this one for a beginner. There's lots of currents and tides to deal with, swift currents. A lot of big boats come through here. Get a little bit more comfortable with your boat before going to the kayak launch in Leeville. But you can always launch off the side of the road right there. Where was it? Right here. Or drop off at top water and head to the east. That's always a good option. Yeah, man, that's why I do this. That's why I do this. I want to share some of these spots with people so they can go out and catch some fish. It's all about just getting out there and doing it. Yeah, Joe, you showed me how to fish a little bit, bruh. I passed you up now, though. We're going to have a fish off. We're going to have a fish off. We'll see. All right, where else we going? Where we going? While we down here, let's talk about the public, not the public launch. What is this? The Grand Isle public launch. It's on the back side of Grand Isle. It's down, what's the name of the street? Ludwig Lane in Grand Isle. It's right behind like the government building or whatever that is. Is that the school or the government? Whatever it's called. Yeah, it is. Grand Isle Multiplex. Right here. You turn right past that, right by this sign. And you go back to the back. There's the public kayak launch. Everybody should know about this one already. This is a pretty cool launch. You can cross and fish all these islands if you're a little adventurous like me. All these islands out here hold fish this time of year. Or you can just launch and fish along these rocks. All these rocks hold fish. You can fish the shoreline. This is a real natural, it's like one of the only natural shorelines in the Grand Isle area. So fish this back shoreline here all the way down all these rock lines. If you don't want to get straight, if you're a beginner, don't stray too far from the shoreline. You should be all right. What up, Felton? Yeah, we got the chat is popping right now. Yeah, follow all these areas right here. You'll be good to go as a beginner. This is also a decent spot for Paddlepalooza coming up, and it'll be good all through the summer. You should be able to catch fish there. As the trout especially, stay down at Grand Isle. What else? We got two more spots I didn't talk about. Oh, I skipped over. Two more spots for the beginners. Then we'll answer some questions if anybody got any questions. So get your questions ready. We're going to shoot over to Highway 23, headed down Bell Chase Highway. We're going to go down to Joshua's Marina. This is a really easy spot for a beginner. You can launch. You don't even have to use the ramp. You can launch right here. See where these trucks are backed in? The water will get high enough. You can back in right here, launch your kayak right over these rocks and fish just in this one square right here. And there's always, every time I go, there's always redfish stacked in here. In the fall, there's usually some trout in these little cuts right here where the water moves through. But usually in this marsh back here, you can catch reds. And if you want to get a little bit more adventurous, you can sneak out, follow this little levee here, and duck back through these marshes and areas back here. Always reds that are easily accessible. And that's still less than a mile from the launch. You don't have to worry about really navigating or getting lost or anything. Just follow the levee. It's straight vertical. What is that? 1.5 miles, and you don't even have to go that far. You can stay in this one little cut all day and catch fish. Who we got in here? How many? Where else we going? It's a long drive. It's a bit of a drive, but it's worth it most of the times when you go down there, Matt. I like to. It's also good down in Venice, but I just hate driving down there off of Tidewater Road. I've caught a lot of fish down there, but I just never go down there. It's a long ass drive. All right. And the 10th and final spot for beginners is old Steve Raddick. If you don't follow him on YouTube, you should. He keeps a pulse of what's going on down 23. But right here, this is his favorite spot behind the high school in Port Sulphur. It's also a good bank fishing spot in the wintertime. And maybe in the spring right now, you could probably catch fish year round there. But you launch right here. A lot of times in the winter, you don't even have to leave this little pocket right here. But if you do want to leave as a beginner, you can duck out and fish along the levee here. It's not... What? It's a long drive to fish. Oh. But yeah, it's not too hard to get out of there. Not too hard to navigate. And this whole area has got a lot of redfish. And there's also some specks a lot of times out in this main lake right here. And out in Bayou St John. But if you want to venture out into the lake, if not, if you still a little leery of kayaking, you can hide back in the marsh. You won't have to worry about any of that. Steve's going out there this week, so look for Steve's video coming soon of how he killed the fish in Port Sulphur. I did get a report that the water's been a little dirty down there, so I don't know. Proceed at your own risk. If you're looking for trout, I would recommend going further west down the Golden Meadow. Yeah, Steve been putting out some good looking cooking videos. We're gonna have to try those out. But that's 10 spots, 10 beginner spots. Like I said earlier, I'll put all these addresses in the description, and if I can find that link for where I downloaded all these points, I will post that in the description too. If it's behind the paywall, then I won't post it. But if it's free, to the public, I'll post it. I'll find it for you guys, so you won't have to go dig for it. But yeah, included is they give you spots in Texas, all through Louisiana, all through Alabama, Florida. It's a really cool resource if you ever want to travel. Anybody got any questions? Joel, you up in here talking all kind of trash, man. I ain't seen you go fishing in months. Anybody got any questions, comments? Anybody know any beginner fishing spots? I did see a question about a beginner spot on the North Shore. And I got two recommendations. First is the Wrigley's. You can launch at Reggio Marina and head back into Gohagen Canal, fish Double Bayou Lagoon, stuff like that. That is, I guess, Slidell area. And second, I think I saw Charlie Mutter post this, but Lake Road is also a good option. You can stay protected, or you can venture out on the shorelines of the lake, catch some fish. There's launches all over Jackson Street. Damn, that looks promising in the fall. These grass beds probably, A1. Have to check those out. Soccer lake spots for beginners. Joe, you're supposed to be the soccer lake expert. I don't know about soccer lake fishing. I caught 2 soccer lake all year. Yeah, when I follow you on Instagram, when you be on the fish, man. I see you all the time catching the freshwater fish. I'm gonna have to come and get some lessons on how to catch freshwater fish. I think I saw you today. You had a nice soccer leg win. If you're the same person that I think you are. Let me see. Yeah, sometimes I wish I didn't know as much as I know now. Like it seemed like it was easier to fish. It was easier to go fishing back when I didn't know all these places to go and hadn't been all these places. Now it's hard to decide. It's hard to decide where to go, what to do on a given day. And then you add in all the different lures and techniques and fish that I like to catch, and it just all becomes one big cluster. Yeah, man, I follow you. I'll be checking you out with them fish pictures, man. Anybody else got any questions? Anybody got any topics for next week, which I want to hear about? Maybe we should get a guest host on here next week. We'll get Joel on here since he like to talk so much. Yeah, you can't beat just a little quick bank fishing trip. You don't have to worry about filling up the boat, filling up the tackle. You can just go out there and bare bones and just have a nice relaxing day. You catch a few fish, no pressure. Yeah, that's some of the best trips is when you just go out on a whim and fish off the bank and free your mind. Oh yeah, I was supposed to talk about the tournament. I don't want to talk about the tournament, Colin. Best beginner kayak other than a Hobie Outback. Oh, I got a new I got a new video coming out maybe tonight. I uploaded it like just before I got on here with the boat. We finally turned the key and started it up. So yeah, that's that. All right, Joe. I'm gonna holler at you, bro. I'm gonna holler at you, Joe. But yeah, we fished the tournament this past weekend. Matt Blackfish was there. Cody was a bunch of people were down there. We launched out a golden medal. Yeah, next year, man, we're gonna get on them. I'm gonna catch some sockeye next year. It's been 2 years in a row now. I haven't caught a decent amount. But yeah, we launched at Catfish Lake down in Golden Meadow, and we went out to Catfish Lake and fished like the south side of the lake, this general area. Water was beautiful. We got to the first spot, and Colin took his first cast on top water and got blown up by a huge speck. He missed it, but on the very next cast, he caught like a 3.5 pound speck. This is what I was talking about in that 16 minutes where y'all thought I was dead. Y'all didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I was talking to myself like 16 minutes. But yeah, Colin was on fire early in the morning starting out. I know I told y'all what I planned to do, how I was going to catch like 17 pounds of fish by 9 o'clock and go home and win the tournament and catch a check. But it didn't quite work out like that. We got out to the first spot, and it worked like that for Colin. His first cast, he got blown up by a huge speck. Next cast, he catches a 3 pound speck. Then he could proceed like over the next hour to catch him 5 nice 18+ inch speck or trout. And at the same time I was fishing the same lure, same technique, top water. I was getting blow-ups like left and right. The fish were hitting it like 8 or 9 times on the cast. I would cast out, twitch it twice, poof, get blown up, keep working it. Fish were hitting it, knocking it out the water. And I could not hook up on a fish. So Colin, it was probably 7:30. He had 5 solid trout. Me, on the other hand, I think I had maybe one that was like 14 inches. So I struggled all morning. It wasn't until 10 o'clock that I finally put my 5th trout in the boat, and that included like a couple that were like 12 inches. We did end up getting on a better bite. We did end up getting on a better bite like about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I stuck with it, and I did get me like 5 trout that were decent, but it just didn't work out for me. So then once I got my 5 trout, it was probably 10:30. We threw mostly topwater Felton, but then after I started missing them, I did pop a cork, and I caught a few on popping cork. But Colin, for the most part, he threw a skitter walk topwater, and I think he jigged on the bottom a little bit with a 3/8 ounce jig head, and he was able to catch his 5 trout, solid trout too. They were all pretty. But yeah, so my plan was to all right, Win, I'll catch you next time. Plan was to get done with the trout early and go red fishing, but so 10:30 I was done with my trout. So I was only an hour and a half behind schedule. And I always talk about how easy redfish are to catch. I talk about how if you just throw anything in the water, they'll bite it, which is usually true. But on this day, it didn't happen for me. My brother, on the other hand, he started red fishing. His first cast, when I said, all right, Colin, go catch your redfish. His first cast, he caught like a 20-inch red. So he had his insurance right there off the bat. Me, on the other hand, I could not catch a red. I didn't see a red all day long. My brother, he was able to upgrade his red. He caught like a 24.5-inch red, which isn't huge, but it was enough to give him a solid 6-fish stringer. He had 13 pounds, I believe. And I think I had 6 pounds. Yeah, it was horrible. It was messed up, though, because the day before when I pre-fished, I caught fish everywhere I went. I caught the first redfish that I pitched at, and then I saw a ton more that were all nice upper slots the day before, and I could not catch a red to save my life. But it just goes to show you, I don't know what I was doing wrong. I was fishing the same areas that Colin was fishing. I was fishing the same lures, the same techniques. I think I'm better fisherman than him, but obviously he was a better fisherman on that day, so I got outfished. Also, yeah, Matt was out there. He had a similar predicament as me. I was trying to show you guys his video earlier. Let's see, how are we going to do this? I was trying to show you his video earlier. If you go check out Matt Blackfish's channel, you'll see his video. His day went a lot like mine, except he caught a hell of a lot more trout than me. So yeah, go check that out. But Cody was his partner, my buddy Cody. He ended up coming in 3rd place overall, so shout out to him. That's 2 back-to-back top 10s for him. He had 15 pounds. He had a nice red that was like perfect, just under, like this far under the 27-inch mark, and that pushed him over the top. And he also had some solid trout as well. So yeah, shout out to Cody. But yeah, overall it was a rough day for me. It was rough. The winners, who won? Terry and Brian Pham, they won. They had 29 pounds combined, and both of them had some solid trout. I think both of them had like 3.5, 4-pound trout on their stringers. So they did exactly what I said we needed to do. So they were able to capitalize on a good bite, like unlike me. But all right, guys, I think I'm done. What time is it? 8:50. Yeah, Cody shrunk that red down. I think he said it was oversized, right, Matt? And he put it on ice, and he was able to shrink it down and get it just under the 27-inch max limit, size limit. Yeah, Colin, you was holding your mouth right. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I was fishing the same way you were fishing. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it from the start. But all right, guys, I'm gonna leave now. I'm done. My throat is dry. I'm hungry. Anybody got any more questions, comments? Anybody want me to stop doing this on Wednesday? Oh, I had a comment. It's good starting to get dark later in the day. Starting to get dark later in the day. So I'm thinking about moving this back to about 8:30 in the next few weeks. So I guess I'll let y'all know when I decide to do that. Right now it's still getting dark about 7:30, and that gives me time to get home and do what I got to do. But once it starts staying light later, I'm going to stay out fishing later, and it's going to start cutting it close. So I think I'm going to start moving these back to 8:30 in the next few weeks. But anybody got a questions? What card do you use in the Helix 5? Thanks, Nate. Have a good night, bro. How did Kyle outfish me? I don't know how he outfished me. He was throwing in the right place at the right time with the right fish biting. I was throwing, I was getting bites. My fish were all cross-eyed or scared to hit it or whatever. I don't know. I was struggling. Colin just, I don't know. He was better than me that day. His his bait was a little more enticing. Fishing frenzy. What was I saying? LA one card. I think that's the card that you use with the Helix 5. Fishing frenzy. How do you reply? Can you just reply? You know how we didn't win the team tournament. We struggled. We could have won the team tournament if I would have actually caught some fish. Colin carried the team. Terry and Brian Pham won the team tournament. I'll let you know, Charlie. I plan on fishing these next 2 days, so I should have some footage coming out soon. And I don't know what else I want to talk about. What y'all want me to talk about next week? What's on y'all mind? What y'all want to know about? I don't even know at this point. No worries, fishing frenzy. I'm done though tonight, guys. I'll catch y'all next week. We'll talk about something fishy. Thanks for watching, Matt. Thanks for staying. I guess Nate is gone too. Charlie, I'll let you know about Friday. Might do a little impromptu thing Friday and do a little kayak trip. All right, guys. I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 8. Don't be late.